Number 9. Jere Burns. Fans of the NBC sitcom Dear John might remember actor Jere Burns as the sleazy ladies' man Kirk Morris. Burns was cast as a main character on the show from 1988 until 1992. However, if Dear John fans were to look up at what Kirk Morris looked like today, they'd probably do a double take. Back in the day, Burns had everything it took to be cast as the typical heartthrob: blonde hair, sharp jawline, and an attractive smile. For his role as Kirk Morris, Burns fully embodied everything it took to look like a ladies' man. He had his hair blow-dried and pushed back, he dressed the part, and he had us believing he could talk his way through anything and into a girl's heart. Burns went on to get cast as William Lustig in Hit List, Pete Schmidt on Bob, and Jack Farrell on Something So Right. He had a few other recurring and small roles too, but it wasn't until his role as Anson Fullerton in Burn Notice that fans of Kirk noticed something was off about his appearance. You wouldn't necessarily have to have been a fan of Burns' past to know the man playing Anson Fullerton had Botox done. Burns has wrinkles on both sides of his forehead, but somehow not in the center. The center half of his forehead seems completely paralyzed. Visually, Burns looked like he could have been happy, angry, upset, all at the same time. Jere Burns probably wanted to hold on to his looks from the late 90s. You can't trick time though, especially not with Botox. Number 8. Janice Dickinson. Born in 1955, Janice Dickinson was one of America's first supermodels. Dickinson herself claims to be the very first in her line of work, actually. Besides modeling, Dickinson has worked as an author, businesswoman, and a television personality. Her career took off in the 1970s and 80s, after which she was called to judge several modeling contests, including 4 cycles of the hit show America's Next Top Model. As one would guess, Dickinson was beautiful, and it used to be all natural beauty. She had brown hair, dark eyes, and a slender nose, full lips, and an overall symmetrical facial structure. But by the early 2000s, her image drastically began to change. Dickinson claims to have gotten, quote, addicted to plastic surgery. Amongst other surgeries, she's received breast augmentation, Botox, brow lifts, facelifts, collagen injections, and even a tummy tuck. Dickinson detailed her journey through plastic surgery, anorexia, and alcoholism in her 2004 memoir, Everything About Me is Fake, and I'm Perfect. Today, Janice Dickinson looks unrecognizable from her former self. Her eyes are squinted, her face is disproportionate, her lips look bigger than before, and she almost has no wrinkles. But perfection doesn't necessarily equal beautiful. Number 7. Jocelyn Wildenstein. Jocelyn Wildenstein is the internet's favorite case of, quote, botched plastic surgery. Her extensive cosmetic procedures and resulting appearance led to her earning nicknames like Catwoman, the Lion Queen, and the Bride of Wildenstein. While there are hundreds of pictures of what she looks like now and after her surgeries, there are hardly any of what she looked like before all the work. Wildenstein was born in Lausanne, Switzerland back in 1941. She came from a wealthy family and would only date men of the same caliber. That was until she met art dealer and millionaire Alec Wildenstein. The couple were married and lived lavishly until 1999. In 1999, Wildenstein walked in on her husband in bed with a 19-year-old Russian model. Things got ugly and Alec threatened Wildenstein with a gun, subsequently spending the night in prison. The court ruled that Wildenstein was to receive £20 million, or about $27 million in US terms, in maintenance, and £80 million, just over $108 million US, in alimony payments, which eventually stopped in 2008 when Alec Wildenstein died. While it's difficult, there are a few images of Wildenstein online depicting what the Swiss socialite looked like in her youth before the, quote, adjustments. The difference is remarkable. She had thick blonde hair, a slender nose, a squarish face, with relatively thin lips. By all accounts, Wildenstein was a natural beauty. Today, however, the nickname Catwoman fits her pretty well. There is some speculation Wildenstein altered her appearance drastically to keep her husband from leaving, since Alec Wildenstein was said to love cats. Despite everything, Jocelyn Wildenstein claims to not have undergone any cosmetic surgery. She attributes her Swiss heritage to, quote, high cheekbones and slim face. Besides obvious canthexapy, experts believe she's had multiple facelifts, brow lifts, fat reduction, collagen injections, and Botox injections. Do you think she's had work done? Let us know what you think in the comments. And if you're liking the video so far, be sure to subscribe. Now, let's keep going. Number 6. Donatella Versace. When the Italian designer Gianni Versace was killed on July 17, 1997, his sister, Donatella, inherited his luxury fashion brand. Suddenly, Donatella had all the money in the world at her disposal for whatever she wanted. As a new part owner of one of the world's most iconic fashion brands, Versace, Donatella tried her best to look the part. Filthy rich, that is. For all intents and purposes, Donatella looked perfectly normal in her youth. She had a slim face that tapered towards her chin, a normal-sized nose, thin lips, and typical eyes. Today, every part of her face, besides her nose, seems to have been reworked. Versace has never acknowledged that she's had work done, but admits she's had some plastic surgery. Even if she hadn't opened up to it, it's pretty obvious with one glance. Experts claim she's had brow lifts, fat reductions, multiple Botox injections, facelifts, lip and cheek fillers, and more. It wasn't until 2002 that people began noticing a shift in her appearance. As the face of Versace, Donatella made appearances at fashion shows and runways. By 2002, it was obvious she had one cosmetic surgery too many. Number 5. Lil' Kim. Kimberly Denise Jones, popularly known as Lil' Kim, is one of hip-hop's most iconic women. Born back in 1974, Jones found fame at the age of 19 with her debut album Conspiracy, which landed her 2 spots on the Billboard Top 20 and went certified gold. Jones has had an impressive track record, pun intended. She's a rapper, a businesswoman, a reality star, and a philanthropist. However, she's also unfortunately known for having changed her appearance dramatically. While many celebrities refuse to admit whether they've gone under the knife or not, Jones is pretty vocal about her addiction to cosmetic surgery. When she started off nearly 25 years ago, she looked cute as a button. She had bright bubbly eyes, high cheekbones, a slender youthful face, a slender nose, and full lips. While everyone else believed she was beautiful, Jones was still incredibly insecure with herself. She's admitted in interviews that, quote, "To this day, when anybody calls me cute, I can't see it. I can't see it no matter what anybody says," end quote. Her journey with plastic surgery began in 2005 after a bad fight with her abusive ex-boyfriend left her with a shattered nose. Jones would then go on to have her face reconstructed multiple times throughout the toxic relationship. After ending things with her ex, Jones claimed to have developed an addiction of sorts to surgery. She says her insecurities began when her boyfriends would leave her for more, quote, European-looking women, all while she was, quote, just a basic black girl. End quote. If only the younger version of herself knew there was nothing wrong with that. Today, Kimberly Jones has undergone cheek lifts, brow lifts, and multiple facial cosmetic procedures. It's sad that even after so much work, Jones still struggles seeing how beautiful she truly is. Number 4. Ray Liotta. For his role as Ray Sinclair in the 1986 action comedy movie Something Wild, the actor Ray Liotta received multiple awards and nominations, including a Golden Globe for Best Supporting Actor. He went on to play Joe Jackson in Field of Dreams and Henry Hill in Goodfellas. Suffice it to say, Liotta was a big hit in the late 90s. He embodied his roles, an action-loving heartthrob, and he looked the part, with deep blue eyes, a sharp jawline, slick-back black hair, a perfect nose, and thin lips. He was on the cover of several magazines in his youth thanks to his good looks. Between the late 90s and the early 2000s, Liotta made fewer and fewer appearances on screen, usually as a recurring character or in other small roles. But once his acting career finally took off again, fans noticed a change in his appearance. Although Liotta's looks hadn't changed drastically, it was pretty obvious he had some work done. His eyes were especially different, which now looked squinted and pulled back. Fans speculated a facelift, a brow lift, or even both for the actor. Between aging gracefully and tricking Father Time, Ray Liotta chose the latter. While his appearance has changed, it's nothing a Hollywood makeup crew can't handle. Number 3. Tara Jayne. Internet celebrity Tara Jayne first gained notoriety after she appeared on E! Entertainment Channel's show Botched. True to the show, the former Australian nurse appeared to have already undergone several procedures before walking into Dr. Paul Nassif and Dr. Terry Dubro's office. The internet model wasn't done though. She wanted a breast augmentation, a size bigger than her already E-cupped size breast. Jayne got turned down for surgery by the doctors, considering the fact that she only weighed a mere 45 kilograms or just under 100 pounds. Out of those 100 pounds, Jayne estimated that 2 kilograms or just under 5 pounds were pure silicone. The self-proclaimed upgraded version of Barbie appeared on Todd Sampson's 2-part documentary series Mirror Mirror to discuss her journey through cosmetic surgery. It was during this series that fans saw a picture of what she looked like before going under the knife. Jayne had everything it took to be a model. She had full lips, a slender nose, dark black hair, a sharp jawline, high cheekbones, and a proportionate face. For all intents and purposes, Jayne looked like a Barbie long before she had any work done. But Jayne doesn't regret a thing. If anything, she wants to have more done. She's had 5 breast implants, buttocks implants, a nose job, and obviously lip fillers. Today, Jayne has her cheeks sunken in, her lips full to the point that they look like they're about to burst, and her eyes sunken in as well. A lot of this is caused by her weight. On Mirror Mirror, Tara Jayne admitted she'd been effectively banned from plastic surgery in Australia. Because of this, she's looking towards Europe and America to fulfill her botched dreams, stating that surgeons in these regions are, quote, happy to take my money. As for the breast augmentation procedure she wanted to have done on Botched, Jayne upgraded her breasts from 540 cc's to 1,050 shortly after the show. Number 2. Jackie Stallone. The Stallone family has had their fair share of plastic surgery fails and horror stories. While Rambo star Sylvester Stallone has had work done here and there, his mother Jackie, however, has had more than a few touch-ups. Pictures from her youth show a striking resemblance to her son Sylvester, but by her own admission, she now resembles, quote, a chipmunk with walnuts stuffed in his mouth. In 2013, Stallone revealed in an interview that she regrets having so many procedures done in her youth, the worst of which she claimed was getting an excess amount of Juvederm, a cosmetic filler. Juvederm is stronger than most fillers and is supposed to give your face more definition, whether that's good or bad. Stallone lucked out and got such an excessive amount of Juvederm that her face now looks disproportionate. A former astrologer and socialite, Stallone's journey with plastic surgery probably began in the early 2000s. She made red carpet appearances long before her children found fame. In a way, Stallone tried to preserve her youth, but ended up failing miserably. Before her death in 2020, Stallone still made red carpet appearances in high heels and miniskirts. Although admirable, it was obvious Stallone had been botched. There aren't many pictures of what Jackie looked like before undergoing extensive surgeries, but from the few that we have, it's obvious she looked more like a feminine version of her son, Sylvester Stallone. Number 1. Farrah Abraham. Farrah Abraham rose to popularity in 2009 after she was featured in the popular reality show 16 and Pregnant. Later that year, she was featured in its spin-off Teen Mom. Today, Farrah Abraham is best known for being one of the most controversial people in the show's history. Abraham had a turbulent relationship with her family thanks to her early pregnancy, particularly with her mother Deborah Danielson, who called Abraham promiscuous for getting pregnant at 17. Danielson let Abraham get an abortion and, as a result, her daughter was forced to quit cheerleading and take a leave of absence from school. Things got even worse when the father of her unborn child, Derek Underwood, died in a car accident. Underwood's family claimed the child was not his, which was ultimately disproved through a DNA paternity test. To say Abraham had a rocky life would be an understatement. Things never really looked up because her career was largely based off of the same image she had while filming Teen Mom. Compared to other cast members, Abraham was more of a, quote, it girl. She was taller, more well-built, had slender features, and a proportionate form. Abraham's image, however, was based on her notoriety, which might be why she decided to undergo extensive cosmetic procedures. She's gotten breast augmentation done, a tummy tuck, butt lift, numerous facial fillers, and lip fillers to the extent that she had to be hospitalized thanks to the side effects. The girl that appeared on Teen Mom all those years ago has been replaced by a ghostly-looking woman. That's all for today's video on celebrity plastic surgery fails. Who do you think looked better before surgery? Who overdid it the worst? Be sure to let us know in the comments below and, as usual, like and subscribe for more content. See you next time on The Bad Badger.